Hello, can you hear me now? There we go. Quick test. Let me get ahead of all of this stuff. Yeah, I am trying, after being reminded the other day, that I could make the chat appear on screen. It's not been working in my experiments, but hey, we'll persevere regardless. There may be some words appearing behind me. I don't know. But yes, we're testing all sorts of things. So we're going to have a recap of the stuff that happened in August. You know the drill. Maybe you don't. Let's not assume. Yeah, because I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, I'm talking to people that people on one platform and the other can't see. But anyway, oh yeah, as always, the Slicker Drip shirt is available on sirmeeple.com if you would like to get hold of one. It supports the channel a little bit, but mostly you help Marty on his journey around the world. And I like that it exists. It's lovely. So August, it was a bit quieter than some other months because somewhere in there, after nearly a couple of years, Rach and I had a week off. Well, Rach gets weeks off, and yeah, went to see her grandma and stuff. But yeah, there's a few less videos this month, but there's going to be more in September, I'm sure, and we'll talk about that in the vote bit afterwards. So things that happened, we had Lands of Galzyr from Sammy Laxo and Snowdale Design, and this is there's a let's not forget there's a co-designer. Let's not be forgetful. Seppo as well co-designed Lands of Galzyr, so it's in the same universe as other games Sammy designed, like Dawn of Peacemakers and Dale of Merchants. But this is a big, a storytelling, an adventuring game, but different in an adventuring game. It's not the kind of adventure where we are, out and out going around saving the world. We are the only people that can do it, otherwise everyone's doomed. It's more kind of, I don't know, folk tales, more smaller adventures. We're still trying to be heroes and stuff. We might not be always successful, but we're traveling the lands, helping people out, trying to stop bad guys on a smaller scale. But it adds to the kind of the charming animal folk atmosphere that's already something we really loved in those previous two games. Dale of Merchants is one of my favorite co-op games. So yeah, there was a full playthrough of kind of the first game. It carries on in multiple games and like a campaign. Hello, it looks and sounds good on YouTube. Thanks, Jamie. I'm glad it's all working. I'm glad that I noticed stuff that I had the mute button on as well. It's not on anymore, hopefully. But yeah, then we had the return of Hadrian's Wall. It's like the third playthrough I did, but still, I think I think Lands of Galzyr is the most popular video of the last month so far, because some I suppose have only been up a couple of weeks. But yeah, Hadrian's Wall. I'm really glad all of you Hadrian's Wallers want to see some more rolling and writing, because I really enjoyed it. We did it. That'll be in the September video, but I did one last night and didn't. Yeah, I'll leave you. Maybe you haven't seen the thing. You don't know how I did, but there's a solo campaign of it as well as the solo mode that's built into the box. There's a solo campaign where you can play with different restrictions, trying to meet different goals, and there's also challenges that you can go for. And if you meet the challenges, you get some extra things for the next game. And I just had another go of one. Didn't manage I did scenario 1 again, actually. I managed the points goal this time, but didn't manage the extra part. Then we had Excavation Earth, another game from David Tortsey, this time co-designed with Gordon Kaleha of things like Vengeance and YE, who together with David designed Pocket Dragons. And this is a big kind of market trading game where we are traveling the world trying to dig up old artifacts. We're aliens trying to dig up old artifacts of Earthlings and try and trade them in these markets. I did the solo variant. It's another one where you have to kind of get your head around it to begin with, but works very, very smoothly and is a really nice opponent. And it's a very kind of, it's a very interactive game. You aren't, getting in each other's way in terms of stealing things. Someone might get to something that you're trying to pick up before you got there, But yeah, it's more about these fluctuating markets and trying to find the right time to buy and sell. If you don't time your two actions properly, you get two actions in a row. But if you don't time them properly, you might be picking up a load of, say, yellow goods, and then someone, before it's your next turn, sells to all of the yellow buyers and they've all cleared off, and you're not going to get half as much money as you did before. It's one of those kind of games. Check out the playthrough for that. Oh yeah, the downside of using the... This is all on Board Game Geek, by the way, this geek list of all the playthroughs that I've done. I'll have to change the page in a minute. But I also like that it keeps tracks of the numbers for me, because usually I realise how many playthroughs it's been when it's coming up to like a big number. Like I think I realised 500 when it was on like 497 or something, and had to panic. But hey, 525 was Shipyard. I did a 2-player playthrough for it ages and ages ago. It's one of my favourite games. I absolutely love it. But it's got a fan-made solo variant by Larry Schneider that you can get on Board Game Geek. So Shipyard is a game all about just building ships, basically, you know, Titanic-looking things, big old liners, and you are gathering up, you know, smokestacks and propellers and captains and businessmen and passengers all to go on there, send them on little voyages around rivers that surprisingly want you to have a lot of lifeboats or a lot of businessmen on board. So yeah, it's all about trying to score the most points from that, and it's a really nice solo version as well, which I kind of need because Rach isn't that bothered about Shipyard. I think until Praga last year, yeah, I wasn't really a fan of many of Vladimir's games. But hey, I am. I'll more than make up for it on my side. Then Rach, while she was off, August is the time where we can get a bit of availability of Rach to come in on playthroughs, and we did a couple of lives with Rogers of the Ganges, the Dice Charmers. Roll and Write version of Rogers of the Ganges takes a lot of elements, as you might expect, from the main board game. Maybe the biggest is the 2 different tracks. You're going up money and fame in 2 different directions, and the game ends. It's a race to try and make those tracks meet. And so yeah, the first person to do that will win. We actually did 2 games of this because I kept noticing that we were picking games that were quite short. And so yeah, after about half an hour or so, Rogers of the Ganges comes with a day mode and a night mode. It's just different configurations of sheets. The rules are the same, but we've played on with both of them, and you can see chapters and stuff if you'd just like to see a particular one. Oh yeah, and I should say all the time, if you're watching now, but if you're watching back later especially, give the video a like and a comment and stuff. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps. It tells YouTube things, apparently. And all of it, really, unless it's like a Kickstarter, all of it is made possible thanks to patreon.com/slickerdrips. Thank you so much, all of the patrons. It's been a great month. And yeah, thank you for sticking around for September, because it's going to be even better. That sounds like an ending then, but it's like kind of wedged 10 minutes in. Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Secrets and Soirees expansion. Covered the original when it came out. Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed Between Two Cities. Absolutely love Between Castles of Mad King Ludwig. So this kind of mashup of them both. You know, I feel like between the Castles of Mad King Ludwig, I can't separate the names now, is still kind of distinct enough, and love that in different ways. But bringing over the kind of the way different rooms score, you've got special bonuses for getting 3 of a particular room, another bonus when you get 5 of a particular room, porting over things like bonus cards, and especially the kind of spirit of crazy castle building works really well in there. And Secrets and Soirees adds more room types, it adds some extra scoring, just more tiles really, but also it gives you an Automa mode, which I might do another playthrough. Maybe I should put this in the vote again. Would you like to see the Automa Factory mode of Between Two Castles? Because Automa Factory make the best solo things, or some of the best. And yeah, it also comes with a new 2-player mode, where instead of having a dummy player to worry about, instead you are just kind of discard. You are choosing a tile to go in the other person's castle, as well as choosing one for you. You are choosing one for the other player as well. Oh, what's happened there? Is everything come through all right? Everyone see me okay? Yes. I think it's just my computer that's gone a bit funny there. Oh well, live things. Yeah, so Secrets and Soirees, you can check out me and Rach playing that a couple of times as well. Then back to the land of pre-recorded, Clans of Caledonia came back for a solo mode. A lot of these games that I've kind of played and loved, but never ended up doing the solo. There's a solo built into the box of Clans of Caledonia. It's a game of it's based on some bits of kind of Terra Mystica, where you're spreading out on this hex map and there's some adjacency involved and all that kind of stuff. But it's all about trading and farming and stuff. But yeah, there's a solo mode built in the box that's kind of simpler rules, is beat your own score, that kind of thing. Some things are taken away from you every round, some contracts, but generally you're out there on your own and trying to do your best. The Automa that is still official, but it's just on the internet. You have to go on a website that kind of deals with the cards and everything for you. That is more complicated to begin with. It's another one, like I was saying about Excavation Earth. To begin with, there's a lot of rules to get on board with in the first place. Kind of their behaviours, their flowcharts, their priorities. It's all there on the website, though. When their particular card comes up, if you've forgotten how a particular action works, there's a lot of links to get you straight to what you need to know. But yeah, it's a much more like an opponent, and it works really well. But yeah, the original solo mode works well for a kind of more relaxed, easygoing kind of mode as well. And I've been told, I'd read a little bit, and I've been told in the comments since, that the fan-made Automa is really, really good as well as a card-based one. So maybe we'll try that at some point. Hey, I think Clans of Caledonia won the playthrough vote last month as well by quite a bit. So yeah, maybe it would win again. Then Cascadia, I did another one where it's really, really quick. It feels silly to just come on stream for like half an hour. But yeah, Cascadia is another one in the line from Flat Out Games. They did Calico. Cascadia was the second game in this kind of loose series. A series of tile-laying games illustrated by Beth Sobel. Amazing artist. And yeah, they are designed by, I think, members of the Flat Out team, but then there's a kind of collaborative thing going on where they all contribute something to the design. So Cascadia is all about building up a kind of Cascadia area. You are laying tiles with different terrains on them, trying to match them up for some nice scoring, but each bit of terrain has animals that can go on there, and you will always get an animal and tile, so you don't have to necessarily put the animal on a tile you just got, but if you've got a space for it somewhere else, you want to make patterns out of these animals. There are different ways all the animals score. You might just want a big line of them. You might want the bears in pairs but not next to any other ones. You might want the hawks in sight of each other but not touching. There are loads of different ways that they can score. And yeah, it's variable all the time. But hey Costa, thanks for following over on Twitch. Hey Antoine, yes, you came in with it's really good in the live stream where I've got something to some context for the score and something to play against as well. I didn't manage it in Hadrian's Wall last night to beat the viewer score, the viewer target that was set for me, but I just about managed it in Cascadia. And more on Flat Out things in the future. Yeah, Cascadia is absolutely beautiful. Other things that happened in August. So I've already had Lands of Galzyr. So we're trying to keep this up monthly now. We had Q&A. Rach really wants me to change that picture to something better. I like it. Yeah, Rach showed me for another Q&A, another nice little chat about all sorts of things that you can watch back on the channel. And also, maybe a bit unusually, there were a couple of how to plays, which I'm in the way of the words how to play. But yeah, a couple of official rules videos for Alley Cat games that are just arriving. Tinner's Trail, which is a Martin Wallace game about mining, about expanding in Cornwall, about eating and selling Cornish pasties and stuff. And also Paper Dungeons, where you are, it's a roll and write game. There are dice. We're exploring dungeons. We're leveling up our companions. All of that good D&D kind of stuff, fighting big monsters and everything. And more on them in a minute. So yeah, I think I've rambled a little bit less as well. Kind of quicker than usual. That is August. And as YouTube is kind of telling me off for, there were fewer videos in August than there were normally. But yeah, we had a nice week off. I think we'll try and do that a bit more regularly. Not all the time, but yeah, now we are free as a child for the time being. Who knows what's going to happen? But while we are allowed, it would be nice to travel about a bit and see people that we haven't seen. How's the green screen working, by the way? My hair's a bit green, isn't it? Hey, it's working out okay. It's not too bad. It's just I haven't got room for a green screen in this tiny room, but I've got something on the chair. That's why bits of the chair are invisible. Hi, Michael. Yeah, it's they've done it again. Two very, very different games, although they're tile laying games. But yeah, done it again with from Calico to I forget the name, Cascadia. I just said it. So before I get onto this is September section now. I should have some kind of animated thing for it. So before we get onto the things that are going to be in the vote for September. A couple of Kickstarter videos that will be coming up very soon are, speaking of flat out games and their kind of loose series, I will be covering the third game in that series, Verdant, which is designed by the flat out team. It's the flat out collab, I believe it talks about in the rulebook, where it's a co-design thing. Kevin Russ, amongst those designer names, is the designer credited on Calico, for example. So yeah, Verdant is a little bit different. I don't know if there are pictures of everything out here. So this is just the cards laid out. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? So in this, we are building up a tableau rather than tile laying. There are some tiles to lay, but you are building up a grid of plants that you can see out there and rooms as well. And the rooms all want particular types of plants. See the colours in the corner of those plants. They want particular plants next to them to score. You will always draft a tile as well. And the tiles can be furniture or pets. You want to build up as many different things as possible. If you put a matching coloured tile on a room, then the room scores double. And there are also plenty of green tiles that will help with your verdancy. Every time you put a plant down, plants have requirements of whether they want to be in the shade or in the sun. And so do the rooms. The rooms have, they will let in sun and stuff in different areas. So if you match a particular sunlight set either side, that plant will get a verdancy, and they all have a number on them. That's how much verdancy they want. You can also get these green tiles that will let you put 3 on a tile or 1 on 3 different tiles, and you are trying to meet that target of verdancy. And if you do that, then you will score points for that plant at the end of the game. There are also some goals that you can be shooting for. Sometimes you want to have the most of something. Sometimes it's just a point for every time you've done something. But yeah, we've played that a couple of times, and there's going to be an overview of that coming very, very soon. And yeah, you can see what I say there. But if you know what I think about Calico and Cascadia, it's a different game. But yeah, I have similar thoughts about Verdant. It works very, very, very well. Yeah, I'd say like even Calico, the kind of crunchiest, the most hair pulling out of the puzzles. It's still a simple thing to learn. It's striving for perfection that makes it so difficult. And there's family variants of all of the games as well that strip out any kind of complicated rules. Like say in Cascadia, just take out all the different scoring for the animals, and you're just trying to put just the same animals next to each other. Yeah, they all work like that. So also going to be coming up with a playthrough is Drop Drive, that is in the same kind of series, the same universe maybe, as Dungeon Drop. So in a similar way, you have these walls that are kind of making a kind of circle now for the universe, and we drop all of these cubes from the box, and the cubes represent, the crystals are asteroids, the big cubes are planets, there's a nice sun in the middle, there are pirates roaming around, we're trying to get salvage and fuel and stuff, and you are trying in a similar way to Dungeon Drop, where you dropped, in the expansion, you actually had a presence in the dungeon and you were making rooms to move through. Now we have, in Drop Drive, we have a spaceship that is dropped into space. Your spaceships have different stats on them, so how high you drop from, which is determined by these lovely little bendy clip things. It determines how high you drop, so the higher you drop, the more you're going to bounce and go further from where you wanted to go. But also you have rocket movement as well, which is in the same thing, but you kind of zigzag your tool around flat and try and cover as many cubes as possible so you can hoover everything up. But you've got different amounts of cargo and stuff that you can hold. You're trying to pick up stuff. You're trying to go to the planets and sell your wares, sell salvage for more cards that might be passengers that want to go particular places and give you powers if you take them there. Or you can get specimens that are kind of set collection, some big scoring for the end of the game. And every time you visit planets, you will let loose pirates. So as soon as you go to, say, the purple planet, you let loose the purple pirate. And every time someone goes to a planet in future, they will activate and will hoover up asteroids of their type. So taking them off the board temporarily, but you can go and fight them if you fly over them. And there are different things going on with the stats of your ships, but along with some modifiers, you roll some dice, try and beat the pirates, and if you do, you get all of their asteroids and send them back to the planet rather than pirating around. So there'll be a playthrough of that coming up very soon as well. But on to things to vote for in September. So I will be making this vote. I'll be writing the post. I should have done that before, actually. I will be writing the post as soon as I finish the stream. And if you are on Patreon, a voter level or higher, patreon.com/slickerdrips, then yeah, you can vote on what you'd like to see coming up on the channel in September, what you'd like to see the most. There'll be as much as I can manage. Because yeah, it's been a bit of a weird week this week with bank holiday in England and stuff, and I don't know, you might not know, I have another job as well that I do aside from this. This is kind of increased over the years as the amount of time that I do it. But yeah, I have to juggle it around that. But hopefully, with your support, the more Patreon that there is, the more hope there is of more and more videos, and maybe even doing this all the time one day. Who knows? Hey, Board Game Italia, how's it going? Thanks for the follow. So yes, voting for September. The options. First of all, we've just mentioned these in when they were how to play videos. So based on kind of requests on Board Game Geek and YouTube and stuff in the comments, or just, will you be doing a playthrough of these? I wasn't planning on it because I did the how to play. I was paid to do rules videos for those. But if there is call for it, would you like to see a solo playthrough? There is the whole game it's designed by Martin Wallace, but it's been developed by David Digby at Alley Cat Games, who has come up with an entire solo variant for Tinner's Trail as well. Would you like to see a solo game of Tinner's Trail? And similarly, would you like to see me go through a paper dungeon, doing some rolling and writing, doing some fighting of monsters and stuff? Just because it was mentioned, I understand why, I normally do playthroughs of things. But if you would like to see playthroughs of the things that I did the rules videos for, let me know, vote for them. So on to other options, some new arrivals. First, well, I think this stuff just all mixed in. So first up, we have Glenmore 2 Highland Games. Absolutely loved Glenmore 2. I think I did a video for its original Kickstarter, and I love the original Glenmore as well. It's so great. So if you needed them, the Glenmore 2 came with loads of chronicles, loads of mini expansions that can be added to the game, different levels of complexity, mix and match them to get the game of your desires. Glenmore 2 Highland Games adds more chronicles to the game, 3 more chronicles, but from kind of guest designers. So there are chronicles from Rudiger Dawn and Johnny Pack. So Johnny Pack, I think it was a couple of months ago now, but in the Lions of Lydia playthrough, amongst many other things, of course. And I'm forgetting Rudiger Dawn. He designed, I'm having a blank spot. He designed Karuba, didn't he? Did he design something that I said really recently? Yeah, Luxor, Goa. Oh yeah, we were looking at Goa, weren't we? And Las Vegas, Istanbul. Loads and loads of things. But yeah, they have contributed chronicles to the expansion, as well as we see over here Morton Monrad Peterson and David Studley. They are part of Automata Factory, who normally do solo modes for all Stonemaier games, but they've also done some amazing things outside of that, particularly Gaia Project. Amazing solo mode. They've come up with an Automata for Glenmore 2. I cannot wait to try that. So I was thinking, I don't know if it would be all 3 chronicles on at once, but if you would like to see some Highland games, I'm thinking the playthrough would be the Automata mode and put some, at least one of the new Chronicles in. Get as many as my brain can handle. I haven't played it yet. I don't know how kind of meaty they are, but we'll see how it goes. Hi, Mike. Yeah, it's strange that is Goa just out of print? Because yeah, a lot of it was Z-Man originally, wasn't it, in English? Yeah, a lot of like Z-Man are in like a different direction now, aren't they, as well? Like I know they're owned by Asmodee and all that stuff, but didn't they do a thing not too long ago saying that kind of their focus was on original games now and expanding the Pandemic line rather than going back to all of these things? Because even like all of the Agricolas and stuff, and they used to print English versions of I can't think of Stefan Feld's name. Stefan Feld's game, like they did the original Bruges and stuff, didn't they? Yeah, I wonder if it's just in limbo from that. But it's Hans im Gluck. Who knows? Yeah, it's strange. We tried to play Goa and we're awful at auctions. So yeah, it wasn't for us. Next option. So outside my Euro-y heart, I really love a dungeon crawl as well. And I wouldn't say I'm very experienced in Descent 2nd edition. I've played it a couple of times, including last week, to get a refresher of what it was like. This is, I am told, this is not the 3rd edition of Descent. It's kind of the 3rd edition of Descent. It's Descent Legends of the Dark. It's a dungeon crawling game. It's cooperative. It's got dice and that in it. It's got an enormous box to house 3D cardboard terrain. It costs a fortune. Those are maybe the main bullet points about it. But yeah, would you like to see some dungeon crawling? It's app-based, it's like Descent wasn't originally, but it later on got that app that let you play co-op and go through a story. That's the whole thing for Descent. I love apps in games. Wouldn't want every single game to get an app, but I think it works really well with dungeon crawlers. Would you like to see some brand new Descent? See how all of that works. I'm going to have to change things around if I'm going to film that because, yeah, all lovely 3D punchboard things, and you can go on different floors. There's elevation, there's stairs, there's all that kind of stuff to think about. But that doesn't look very good from up above, does it? It doesn't matter how high up you are if you're just being looked at from a bird's eye view. But yeah, would you like to see some Descent? Because we've played. How many have we done? A couple of scenarios now. I think we've done 2 big scenarios. We're pretty keen on it. As a teaser. So next up, Taverns of Tiefenthal. I didn't do too long ago. I didn't get told about it kind of when I did the top 10 of 2019 earlier this year. Kind of like, that's missing off your list. And it was. It's fantastic kind of different take on a deck building game from Wolfgang Warsch. I absolutely loved it. I didn't know what I'd been missing. And it's got an expansion now. Open Doors, is it? In English? It just adds new modules. So new modules for the base game. Players have the option to add a wine cellar or a guest room. Innkeepers give you different player powers throughout the game. I'm just interested in more and more. Because, there are modules included in Taverns of Tiefenthal, but and I was advised this before we first played it, just play with them all on. Often in games where it's like, play the really basic game and then add things on as you get playing. A lot of the time, I want to be big-headed about it, we kind of think, oh, we should have just turned some of those things on at least, because yeah, it was a bit basic. So Taverns of Tiefenthal, we turned it all on. It was amazing. I'm really keen to just have more and more modules on there. But yeah, would you like to see another playthrough and see what's in the expansion? Mike's trying to stay away from Descent, given you have Frosthaven and Oathsworn coming eventually, in theory. Yeah, Frosthaven is like it's well on the way, isn't it? And you can play our scenarios. I know tons of amazing people designed guest scenarios for Frosthaven, but we are among them, and really proud of that. Can't wait to see it in its final form and see it in print as well. It'd be amazing. Never done anything like that for a game before. Having a first play of Sword and Sorcery tonight. Michael, yeah, Midara. We've still got Midara. We're kind of in the middle of a Midara campaign. We started again earlier in the year, thinking like, it's been a couple of years. Let's get refreshed on it. Let's get back to it. Let's finish it. We played through the entire first chapter, which doesn't sound like a lot, but a chapter of Midara is a lot. We played through the entire first chapter all over again. Loved it, just like before. Did some rules tweaks for we didn't have the update pack yet. That's arrived since. And then got to almost the same, I think a little bit further than we did the first time. And then started playing other things. It came off the table. It's still downstairs waiting to be gotten back out of the box. So we need to try that really soon. But we have we have started campaigns of other things on top of that. All these things are just overlapping and there's no time for all of it. Stormsunder? I don't think I've heard of... Oathsworn sounds familiar. But Stormsunder, I don't think I've seen. What did I see? Dungeons of... It's not Dungeons of Dreadmore, is it? Daedalore? Something like that? Ooh, Oathsworn. Oh, I think I did. I think I was told about Oathsworn being an exciting, complicated kind of thing. What was... Dungeons of... Oh, that... Dungeons of Dunagore? I can't spell it. Yeah, there was a cool looking dungeon crawl game that I found, but yeah, it's Kickstarter only at the moment, and it's pricey on eBay. And I did spend money on these other dungeon crawly games that we need to finish at the time. But yes, Taverns was what I was meant to be talking about, and I haven't got an option up here, have I? Oh, so I don't think it's going to be in the vote because I whittled it down to 10. But Sword and Sorcery, we got in that week off. It arrived just as Chronicles of Drungor. That's it. Yeah, Sword and Sorcery. I got a copy after kind of having it at the back of my mind for ages. I remember Rado always used to talk about Galaxy Defenders, and then he was like, "These people have made Sword and Sorcery. Try that out." And then never did. Too many games. Got a copy because it's the first game is fairly cheap now. Got a copy. We've played through the first campaign. I could say the same thing about so many dungeon crawlers that like it's tricky to begin with. There are a lot of rules questions. There are a lot of keywords. I could say the same about our experience with Descent Second Edition at the weekend, and pretty much everything. All of our restarts of Medara, even Gloomhaven when we were new to it. All of it. Needs a load of Googling and keywording. But yeah, we've really been loving Sword and Sorcery, and I am tempted. I might wait until we've finished a thing. But yeah, I've got lovely painted things for Sword and Sorcery, and I think it's a really cool dungeon crawling game. I'd like to do videos about that. I don't know if there's demand for it, but I'd really like to. I've gotten paints out again for the first time since Medara. I never finished Medara either. That's I kind of flip from thing to thing sometimes. But yeah, I've been painting things in Descent. It's not going to look great, but hey, they're not just brown or grey. Chronicles of... Can I get a picture of it? Chronicles of... Not crime. There it is. Chronicles of Drunagor. I like whenever I see game trays and things. But yeah, it looks like a very nice dungeon crawl. It's hard to differentiate them from each other just by describing them, isn't it? And I haven't got it, but I'd like to give it a go at some point. This had like game trays as well to do different level. Like, look at all of that Kickstarter stuff. It had like levels of the dungeon, kind of like I was saying in Descent, but it's done through game trays, I think. I can't see a picture. No, I can't see. But I think you use these holders as kind of different levels of terrain in there. Maybe we'll get to that one day. Have the first act only for Sword and Sorcery. Yeah, we've got a couple of the expansions for it. We've played through that first act now. The base box we have played through now, and then we need to move on to the kind of side quest box after that. But enough chat about. Well, actually, we can't have enough chat about dungeon crawlers. I'm into them. Usually, a lot of the time in games, don't like randomness as much, and not a fan of dice. But I do think that they, in different ways, all these games that we're mentioning use dice in different ways. It's not just rolling against the number. Like I think Descent Second Edition does it in a bit of a clunky way, the way range works and that. And I don't think you should ever have a face of a die that is just your entire attack misses. Nothing happens. Even in Gloomhaven, those wretched cards that come out of the deck, the other stuff still happens. Your attack misses, but your pulling and pushing or making elements and stuff, all that still happens. Just your actual attack missed. And there's way to do things rather than just a no. That's what annoyed me about. As much as I think it's great in other ways, Arkham Horror, the card game, having a token in there that's just no matter what. No. Oh, Michael, have you got Drunigo? Oh yeah, how many Michaels are in here? I'm just saying, I'm just talking to all of you collectively. Game trays are nice, the elevations to things are awesome, but the game trays organisation is the worst you've seen, sadly. You know what? Cocopelli, that will be coming up quite soon, actually. I'll be putting that on Patreon pretty soon. I edited that and uploaded it earlier today. Cocopelli's got game trays. It's a game from Queen Games. You usually just have little cardboard inserts, and it's okay. It's a confusing game trays. It's not like I really enjoy their trays in things like Wingspan and Between Two Castles. I had Euphoria too early to have game trays for it. That's happened since. But anyway, onwards through the votes. There's going to be a massive timestamp difference between Descent and the next one, isn't it? Next up, on a different tack, Shelfie Stacker. So this is a dice game all about, board game collections and shelfies. And I'll say that would be enough, really, to tempt me in. That's enough thematically. It looks beautiful. I love me some dice placement and stuff. But also, it's designed by, it's not published by, perhaps unusually, but it's designed by Shem Phillips of the West Kingdom and the North Sea series of Garfield Games. But yeah, it's got a great designer. It's got a great theme. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm hoping that it's great. It's coming soon in the next couple of days. Would you like to see some Shelfie Stacker played through somehow, some way? Next up, Nemo's War. Don't ruin the illusion of the green screen too much, but yeah, I was giving this a go the other night. Oh look, he's going all green screened as well. You can see through the box. You can see through the sun. So yeah, Nemo's War, 2nd edition. A solo game that we tried years ago, probably in 2017, I think. Got it out of the box, tried learning it, and thought, what is going on? Don't get this. But I played it about a bit over a year ago, I think. I think it's when I had my broken shouldery thing. Paul Grogan invited me on one of Gaming Rules streams, and we played a 3-player co-op game of Nemo's War. It's a great big story game. I found out since that the designer of Nemo's War is one of the writers of the original Fallout games. Yeah, it's a big storytelling game. You are Captain Nemo. You're going around exploring, depending on what your motive is. You're going around exploring under the sea and stuff. You're having stories constantly, adventures. You're fighting things. You can be cruel and stuff. But yeah, that's playthrough. I really enjoyed the game itself. I'm still not really convinced that it works that well as a co-op game. But any kind of solo game, you can still just work together and make the decisions collectively. And that's still, even though it's got roles and stuff, and you've got different abilities, and you're in charge of different things, and you make the decision on what we're spending of this. You make the decision if we're spending treasure. Yeah, it still kind of felt like a solo game. But would you like to see? I imagine it would be a big meaty game of Nemo's War, and see what adventures we get up to in that. And it came with a couple of expansions as well. I'm disappointed that the Christmas expansion in it is very, very small. It's like 2 cards. I would like to see, and one of them is just alternative art where he's wearing a Santa hat, which I've put in, obviously. I want to see a complete Christmas retheme of Nemo's War. A Shelfie Stacker a bit like Azul and Sagrada. Ooh. Well, Sagrada, I'm definitely on board with. Azul, great, well-designed game, but too mean. Oh, they are fixing Dunagore trays. You got Arena the Contest last month. What are all these games I'm missing out on? I can't have all of them. Is it Arena the Contest? It's not in the vote. I haven't got it. But Is this another big... Ooh, a big fantasy. Well, first, whenever I see a big board with walls and stuff, I think Dungeons of Drunagor is a bit more like this as well. I always think Hero Quest. Yeah, maybe I'll get onto that at some point. Maybe make a list of all of these things and say, publishers, would you like a playthrough? Next up, on another wildly different tack, I don't know how much demand there will be for this. This is the next game from the designer of Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. Again, Paul Grogan mentioned this ages ago, and it stuck in my mind. So this is a big, detective game full of, newspapers and files and all of that. But rather than being all Sherlocky, which is great, Sherlock Holmes is fantastic. But what if he was like a L.A. Noir-y kind of detective? That I can get on board with even more. I have got a copy of this finally because it's rare. It's from like 1985. I don't think it's been reprinted. But yeah, it's hard to get hold of a copy. I found a copy that was a fair bit of money rather than a frightening amount of money. So I kind of thought, since we're probably not going to be able to play through it again anytime soon, would you like to see at least one case of it? See what it's like. It's got to have some detective prowess, hasn't it? It kind of got lost in the Nemo expansions. Yeah, some of them I think I'll just leave out for now because it's like all the different upgrades. It's going to change the difficulty of the game and stuff. And I don't know enough about Nemo's Water. Well, that's why you don't get the expansion straight away. But it came with it. Yeah, a lot of dice in Nemo's War as well. You could get incredibly unlucky and have an awful game of it, I think. But generally, yeah, in my practice game, I didn't manage to get all the way through it. I needed the table again to do Hadrian's Wall yesterday. But yeah, I think things went fairly, I think. Some things great, some things terrible. Hi, Moran. You've missed August. We're on to the voting options for September. Here's like a similar drafting mechanism to Azul. Player initiative from Cosmic Colonies. I haven't played Cosmic Colonies. Dice placement from Sagrada. Nice mix. So yeah, Gumshoe, would you like to see a strange, out-of-print, old detective game? Because I would really like to play it. And I'm going to be playing it, but would you like to see me play it before I do? And on that kind of similar theme, a much more modern one that we got hold of. I thought I'd put this in a recent vote, but I couldn't find it in any of the last few. Detective City of Angels. It works, you can be competitive detectives. You can just have one player being the... What's the word for the player that works against everyone? The chisel, who's got a special book and kind of speaks for all the bad guys. So whenever you're interviewing someone, they've got a kind of script book and they can choose whether to lie and stuff, and you can call them on it. It works fantastically. It was great fun with Rach playing the chisel when we had a 3-player game of it. I can tell you now that Rach will 1000% not repeat the chisel on camera. But there is a built-in kind of fully co-op or solo mode that I haven't tried yet, and I would really like to, where it's a kind of storybook thing, flipping from chapter to chapter as you make your decisions out on the board. And similarly, it's a 40s noir-y detective game. We played through the first few cases for it, and yeah, it worked fantastically. But definitely some of that was added to by the presence of the chisel. To run through the options so far again, Moran. We had... I've lost some of the tabs, though, haven't I? From looking up other games. But we have Tinner's Trail, Paper Dungeons. That wasn't what I was looking up. But here we go. We go back to the page that I was originally on. Glenmore Highland Games. Descent 3. Or not Descent 3. Descent 3 Legends of the Dark. Was this a new tab that I opened? Oh no, Taverns of Tiefenthal. Open Doors, is it in English? An expansion for Taverns of Tiefenthal. Shelfie Stacker, dice placement from Shem Phillips, of all of the things. Not Arena of the Contest, I was looking up something again. What was I originally on? Oh yeah, Nemo's War 2nd edition. Then Gumshoe, Detective City of Angels, and finally rounding it out, because we've talked about the other two already in the video, why not throw in Calico? because yeah, I haven't done a playthrough of it since I had a prototype way back when it was on Kickstarter, and I don't think it had solo rules back then. So maybe at some point, maybe this month, I should get back to it. Maybe it'll get a stream if it doesn't get enough demand for a film playthrough. We'll see how everything goes. It's not just that like the thing that gets the most votes gets filmed. It's like it's an opinion poll kind of thing, isn't it? See what everyone wants to see the most and try and film those things. There's never enough time to do nearly as many as I would like. But hey, if you'd like to help me have more time, patreon.com/slickerdrips is how you can get to vote on these games. After I finish the stream soon, I will be typing up a post for Patreon and you'll be able to vote from then. Where you'd like to see the most, and always on any platforms, whether you're a patron or not, you suggest games to me. As you've seen from this stream so far, I can't keep track of all of the games, and I'm sure I've missed out on some great ones. So if you'd like to see a playthrough for something I haven't done, you can just request on all of the places that I am. Oh yeah, Flat Out should make a campaign mode, like a Tome Saga of all of these games. That would be great. Making them like a proper linked series. Oh, that would be really cool. Hey, Twagoner, Glenmore 2. Nice option. I'm hoping that does really well, because I do think kind of at the start of the month I'm thinking like, oh well, I'll get to play them anyway, whether they get chosen or not. But as it is, I probably won't have time to even play them all, because yeah, the priority for getting things played is the ones that have won the playthrough votes, because I need to know how to play them to get ready to do the videos on them and stuff. But yeah, Calico is if you haven't seen the original playthrough's there, but you're making beautiful quilts for cats and stuff. It's beautiful, as all the games are, because they are illustrated by Beth Sobel, the Flat Out series, not every single board game. Although, hey, maybe in the future. And I think that will do us for September. I'm sure there will be things arriving in the middle of months. Like in the middle, like just after I'd done the August vote, I think, Cocopelli from Tiefenthal arrived, and Riverside from New Chili Fox Games, which is kind of co-ran and co-designed by Eilif Svensson, who designs things with Aporta Games, co-designer of things like the magnificent Santa Maria Avenue. Fantastic Flip and Fill games. Trails of Tucana. So this Riverside, which I'll hopefully be filming tomorrow, is another take on a roll and write game, but yeah, with lovely differences. You're going around like a river track. We're on a lovely cruise, and you are trying to see the sights as we sail past them. But the way you're restricted if you're using dice is really nice. A beautiful trick from Avenue where you have to beat your own previous score. But the whole point, as I said, I get distracted by things. But the point there was, things may arrive in the middle of September, and yeah, I'll try and film. If something really exciting arrives, like a Tiefenthal game, I'll try my best to film things as quickly as possible. But they are the 10 options for. Oh, there's 12, isn't there? Because I put in those games that I did the rules videos for. So loads of options. Tell me what you want to see over on Patreon. You can. Oh, hey, Kabuki Kid, how's it going? You'd like to see Glenmore with expansion as well. Well, going from the YouTube comments definitely leaning towards some Glenmore 2 Highland Chronicles, which we played Glenmore 2 not too long ago either, so should be pretty sharpened up on the basic rules of it. But yeah, hopefully that'll be one of the ones coming up. I would really like, even though, yeah, I don't know what the kind of mood of the voters will be. I can't think if dungeon crawly things have been in the votes, but yeah, I know that my kind of wheelhouse is dry Euro-y things, but I do love a dungeon crawl from time to time. I think it would be interesting trying to film Descent. It always complicates things when there's an app involved and you've got to get the iPod on screen and stuff, and I'll have to figure out where cameras can go in a not very big room to try and film them from angles where you can see all of the 3D stuff. Hey, but maybe it's for the best if it doesn't get a playthrough, because you won't have to see my standard of painting things. But hey, that is all of the stuff from August. That is all of the options for September as well. I am going to go away and write out the vote post for Patreon that will go live very, very, very soon. Sorry for that. People have joined and then I'm just about to go off. Hey, Bron on Twitch. Thanks for the follow. Oh no, there's been a mean storm. Oh no. Well, hopefully things pick up. Hopefully everything gets sorted. I've got to remember to have drinks. Make a nice drink and then forget and just talk for an hour, barely having anything. But yes, what was I saying? Yes, Patreon. There's shirts available. I'll show you again. There's Space Marty out in space. Shirts on sirmeeple.com. I say shirts. There are copies of this available. There will be more shirts in the future though, when Tim can, because yeah, he designed this. Rachel's lovely portrait of Space Marty, shirted by sirmeeple.com. You can find it there. But yes, I'm going to write the vote post for Patreon. Oh no, oh yeah, I heard that it was coming the other day. Oh no, 1 in 200 year storm. I need to look things up. I need to get out of this board game room and start reading about what's happening outside of it. But yes, that will start with a board game related post straight away on Patreon. But yeah, the things need to be done. So yes, I'm going to go away and do that. I think that is it for the week's streams. You will have Escape Plan played through on Saturday. That will be going up. If you are a patron, you will be seeing Cocopelli very soon. And, oh, Master Yoda, thanks for reminding me. I haven't got a lovely... I should have it beside me, but it's all sealed. Nice and up in the box. Here we go. This is what happens when you don't write things down. I can't center that all nicely, can I? There we go. I'll have to put a link to this at the very end as well. I'm glad that I didn't just turn it off then. So yes, Cascadia. I have an extra copy of Cascadia that I am going to be giving away. I shouldn't put it in the post on Patreon. So yes, it's going to be open to everyone because I think that's the rules. But yeah, it should just be open to everyone anyway. And if where is the email? I think it's easiest on email. So yeah, it's just going to be a raffle basically. You can enter by emailing. I'll put it out in the chat. Put in the subject line, Cascadia. I'm not on the right page, am I? I'm showing you something else. There is the email. slickergames@gmail.com. Yeah, slickerdrips wasn't available. And the other one's just longer. That's the quickest one to email. If you would like to have a chance of winning a copy of Cascadia, we'll be drawing it in 2 weeks. So there's 2 weeks to enter. You will get, though, everyone can enter. It's not required that you are a patron. But if you are a patron, you will get a bonus entry into the competition. Whatever tier you're at. You don't get more for being higher tiers or anything like that. But yeah, just thanks for being on Patreon. But anyone could win. It would be nice if my hand went over the box, wouldn't it? It would be if it was this arm as well. But yeah, if you just send an email, just with Cascadia in the title, with something along the lines of, I would like to win a copy of Cascadia. Don't need to send me any details or anything like that. We'll sort that out if... whoever the lucky winner is. I've only got one copy, but we'll try and sort out some more giveaways in the future, depending on how this goes. I'm a scatterbrained person, and we'll see how well I do at organising all of this. So yeah, Cascadia is available to win this month, thanks to Flat Out Games for sending me an extra one to give away. And you can see the playthrough as well for if you would like to get hold of a copy, see it in action. thank you very much for reminding me about that, because yeah, that was an important thing that I should probably have put up front. But yes, it's a reward for people that have persevered throughout the video. Yes, it's open to worldwide. I'll send it anywhere. It would obviously, my wallet would appreciate someone from the UK winning, but I am doing it everywhere. I want everyone to have a chance to win it, and we'll just hope that the shipping gods are working in our favour that particular day. But yes, go for it. Give us an email. Cascadia is up for grabs, and yeah, I'll put a public post on Patreon for just specifically for the competition, so people can see it all written down in text form at some point later. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to head over and write that vote post so you can vote for the playthroughs that you would like to see in September. Good luck on winning Cascadia if you'd like to. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see you next week. Tune into social media places on Monday to see what kind of streams and videos there will be next week. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for all your support. Subscribe, like the video, comment on things. Most importantly, support on Patreon would be massively, massively appreciated. Hi, Steve. Hi, Tobias. Have you entered? Great. But yes, everything would be appreciated. Everything is appreciated. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to go now. I've said that about 20 times, but thank you very much. I'll see you very, very, very soon.